Hello everyone. Good afternoon once again. My name is Decency NCLEX, the vendor of good news. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. You're all welcome to today's program. I have, gone through a lot of how will I put it, roller coaster emotions, up and down, with my few experiences this year, especially with my immigrant nurses, those people that are coming to the United States that have gone through our academy, that have gotten all the way up to their EB3 visa interview. You know that before now, one of our very, very prayer requests was to see if the visa bulletin could move, at least let the visa bulletin become current. You know, I don't know. The visa bulletin, let me just start with giving us a little history of the predicaments of the United States nurses, like the problem that people face, especially my nurses, the problem that we have been facing with the immigration, coming to the United States. So, first of all, as a registered nurse, this is one thing that you must do. If you want to come to the United States, you have to, first of all, decide that you want to embark on this journey. And once you decide, if you meet people like us, one of the things that we are going to tell you is that you got to do NCLEX. You got to do the NCLEX exam, which is one of the very, very tough exam that you, as a registered nurse, you will write because number one, coming from a country like Nigeria, Ghana, or Kenya, this format of exam of NCLEX is not the same that you use in your country. I know that most nursing bodies in some African countries are now adapting to the computer-based testing systems, but before they weren't doing that. So like when we did our own exam, we wrote our exams with pen, but that's not how NCLEX is written. So this is the first thing that you have to do. You have to write NCLEX, okay? That's the major hurdle, and that's your prayer point, and that's your ultimate goal. The ultimate goal at that point is just to be able to pass your NCLEX exam. Okay, and it's just like a bait. So once you pass your NCLEX exam, the next thing we're going to tell you is now, okay, fine, you have passed your NCLEX exam. And mind you, the NCLEX doesn't come easy. You have to do your CGFNS registration. There were times in this process that it was difficult to get your CES report approved. CGFNS will always tell us that they are so backlogged. There are so many volumes of applicants that they are not processing things as fast as they can. So sometimes people stay up to 6 months, up to 8 months, 1 year, trying to get CES report. And things as easy as CES report was a prayer point for some people, was a difficult thing for some people to get. So we went through that. We were able to get through, and people were getting options because Joseph Ciani came up, educational records came up, that's errors, and many other bodies that were doing CGS, credential evaluation report started springing up, and that actually reduced the volume on CGFNS, and people began to get their CES report very easily. Okay, so next was to write the NCLEX exam. There was this new generation or next generation NCLEX question format that came out. People did not get used to it, as fast as possible. So people faced that exam with fear and anxiety. A lot of people failed the exam, but finally, a lot of people still passed. And then the next thing will be to write your IELTS exam. The IELTS is your English proficiency exam. Is either you write the IELTS exam or you do your PTE, or any other equivalent like TOEFL and the rest of them. So people, had that as their difficult process as well. People began to look for how to write that, wrote the exam, passed, and then once you pass these two exams, your NCLEX and your IELTS or your PTE, then next thing is going to be, okay, now we have to start your filing process. They're going to file your I-140 petition. I-140 petition was another hurdle. Like, as a registered nurse from a foreign country, just be following me with all the trend of communications that I have, because I'm just trying to let you know the hurdle that we pass through and also to recognize your effort, because I know a lot of people who are here in this call and in this meeting, majority of you have had to pass through this hurdle. And it's not easy to pass through this hurdle. And I want to acknowledge that fact. I want to, let you know that you've done well for yourself, regardless of the situation, which we'll come to the prevailing situation at the moment, which is the visa. That is exactly why everybody is here. But I'm just going to give you a backstory first. So you came into the stage of filing your I-140. I-140 petitions. Normally, they would take 1 month. I'm telling you, people who wrote NCLEX in 2016, 2015, they would tell you that I-140 petition, they didn't even know when it came out. Like it was the fastest thing in their life. But in recent time, I-140 petition has become another big hurdle. Like you will file your I-140 petitions and in 2 years, you haven't even heard from USCIS. You have not heard a single word. No, no denied, no request for further evidence or evaluation, nothing. They will just keep quiet. And you keep on going to their website, you keep on checking the inquiry, sending messages and nothing. Okay? Then if you decide to upgrade your process to premium, and you would get a response. Maybe the response that will say request for further evidence. And if you provide those evidence, they would give you I-140 approval. Okay, so this is how it is. So people actually, I have a lot of people on the queue now waiting for I-140 that have stayed close to 18 months. Many people have stayed on that queue. I'm talking about even prior to the Trump administration. This has been the prevailing problem that we have been facing as registered nurses from other countries. Okay. So even before Trump, there has been backlogged. We have been backlogged even before the Trump administration. So it's not a new thing. But I would say the Trump policies kind of made it worse because of so many things. Yeah, I have somebody in the comment section saying my I-140 petition has stayed almost 2 years now. And see, this is the story of many people. This is the story of a lot of people. So tell me the process is moving fast, I will tell you no, because I've seen it move faster. I've seen some people, in fact, I know some people, we are all here in the United States. They are my friends. People who did their NCLEX within 3 months, and in the next 6 months, they are already in the United States. Like in 9 months, they are already here. People that did their process prior to COVID, they were the fastest. They got here very fast. You understand? And that was during Trump administration, his first time. Okay, so people has been doing this, waiting for I-140 petitions to come out, the approval to come out, but the approval was taking time. This approval taking time became another serious problem. So if you are counting with me, you will notice that I've listed so many, so many problems that are facing the foreign educated nurses, like internationally educated nurses, are facing a lot of hurdle, are facing a lot of trouble. And right now there is, okay, let me just continue in that line of thought. So fine and good, you will get your I-140 approval in 2 years, for instance. I'm just saying. If your agency, for instance, if you get an agency that is able to do a premium for you, premium processing, you might get your I-140 approved within 3 months or 4 months. But most agencies decline doing the premium processing. And I understand with them because as the I-140 petition was lingering, as it was, delaying, now we faced another secondary problem, which was the visa bulletin was retrogressed. So the visa retrogression or visa bulletin retrogression is that there is no there's no visa to be given to anybody. So the little available number of visa that the embassy has, they have to ration it, and they have to do it based on first come, first serve. So people who were okay, somebody says mine was approved in 2 weeks. Maybe your agency did premium processing for you. So now, those that have gotten to, even if you just wrote your NCLEX and your agency did premium processing for you, and yours will or is approved in 2 weeks, in the visa bulletin lens, if you're looking through the visa bulletin lens, you are still like 3 or 4 years down the line to be called by the embassy for interview. So that was the problem why many agencies were not They were not trying to expedite it. They were not trying to do the premium processing, because if they do the premium processing, then you will still be on the queue. You will not, it won't make the journey easier for you because of the visa bulletin. Okay, so a lot of people are now on that queue of the visa bulletin, whether you are, because once you have done your filing, once you have gotten your receipt number, that receipt number is your priority. It has a date, and that date there is your priority date. So even if you do your process and get your approval before somebody that did his process before you, let me just use dates. So if I did my NCLEX today, and I write an agency, and an agency does a premium processing for me, and then someone else that wrote NCLEX last year, and the person's agency just did a regular filing for the person. So that person that did a regular filing for that person that had a regular filing is still going to be the first on the queue. So whenever the agency decide, whenever the USCIS, or sorry, the embassy decide to start giving out dates, they're going to give to the person that did 1 year before me, before they get to me, even though I have my approval. Why? Because if that person at that point that the embassy wants to give their dates, if that person has gotten an approval, then the person will qualify before me. So that's why the priority date comes into question. So the agency, we're looking at it like, okay, this is priority date. If you already have your priority date, and the visa bulletin is retrogressed, there's no need for us to kind of hasten the process, because even if we hasten the process, you will still come out and still be on the queue. You will still not have to move anywhere faster than those people that are already on the queue already. So that was the challenge again. So everybody faced that challenge. Like the person that is on this comment section saying she got hers in 2 weeks. Yes, congratulations, but you won't get ID. You're not going to get ID because of your priority date. So your priority date, if your priority date states that you are just maybe 2025, then we are currently working on those in 2023. And until we finish those in 2023, we cannot get to 2024, and we cannot get to 2025. So you're still going to be on the line. You're still going to be on that queue. And that's what agencies were trying to kind of eliminate. So that was the problem. That was the issue that we had. And then after that issue, we started brainstorming. At that point is when we came in 2024 and advertised that we have to start diversifying the process. So if you have an agency that can do H1B for you, then you can come in here with H1B, because H1B is a dual intent visa. So it's an immigrant visa and also a non-immigrant visa. So they call it immigrant with a non-immigrant intent. So, sorry. Non-immigrant is a non-immigrant visa with an immigrant intent. That's the name. So it's a non-immigrant visa, but it has an immigrant intent, which means if you come with a non-immigrant visa, which is H1B, you can work here for some time. After working here for maybe 3 years, you can decide to file a petition. But the people that we had, which were nurses, have already filed their EB3 petitions. So what we wanted to do with them was to bring them here on H1B. So when they come here with H1B, the next phase will be to stay here and wait for their EB3 process to mature. So when their EB3 process matures, then they would now go ahead and get their green card and stay permanently as an immigrant. Okay, so that was the situation of things, and that was what we're hoping that we will achieve on a long term with the H1B and EB3. We call it H1B EB3 combined processing. So we're doing both of them combined to make sure that people get in here quicker and start working. So it favored a lot of people. And if you are here and you're one of those people that were favored by the H1B thing that we brought, congratulations to you. Okay, but currently now I'm going to divert a little bit, and I divert a little bit into H1B. So currently now the H1B is not going through. Okay, we do not have H1B going through at the moment. Why? Because Trump felt, the president of the United States felt that the H-1B is one of the ways that people are being brought into the United States illegally. Okay, so he felt like he wanted to stop it. So one of the things I want to say, and I'll be repeating that word today in this session, is that one of the goals of this present administration is to reduce immigration. So immigration has been on the increase to the United States. So one of their goals is to reduce immigration, to reduce it to the lowest minimum. Okay, so and it has also been like reduced with all the policies that they are bringing up. Okay, so now when that came up, we started. H1Bs are in two types. We have the cap exempt one, and then we have the lottery one. The H1B lottery is the one that is open to everybody, but the one that is cap exempt is only open to non-profit institutions here in the United States. So if your hospital is not non-profit, you cannot benefit from it. So agencies were not doing this by themselves. They had to partner with hospitals to be able to file a H1B petition for you. So many agencies were doing it as well. A lot of agencies keyed into it. They did a combined processes for their candidate. They brought them on H1B, and then they would, send them to work on that H1B until their EB3 matures. And that is a legal process. It's just somebody being smart and then making use of your available resources and bringing people here faster. And it worked out very well. Okay, so right now, H1B, Trump said for you to actually bring anybody on H1B here, especially the lottery one, you have to, so for you to bring somebody here, especially the H1B, you have to give the United States government $100,000. I don't know if somebody can convert that to your currency, whether you're in Ghana, convert it to Ghana, convert it to Naira, convert it to cedis, convert it to shillings, and see how much that you're going to be paying. Nobody has that money. No institution is going to pay $100,000 on your head. Just it's not even a bond. It's not a bond. It's not like pay that money and you will get it back later. No, this is a money that you're going to pay to the United States government to say, I have a person that is a genius and the person is going to be working for me, and that even Tesla can't even pay that amount on people unless like it's just one person. But if Tesla want to pay that amount for two maybe say 200 people, that's going to be a lot. That's like you're talking about 200 million, and that 200 million is subject to approval, so you can pay that money and still be denied. You can still pay that money and not get the visa. So that's the thing. So a lot of people saw that as, now if you say, if I want to, if I was selling something, so you can imagine that H1B was actually, I think it was like $50 to apply for it before, just $50 to apply for it. So if something jumps from $50 to 100,000, that means that person doesn't want it to continue. It does not want it to continue. So that's the essence. The intent is just to stop the process. It wasn't meant to be said out there because it has to still be a process. It's a legal process of immigrating to the United States, so it cannot be shut down. So the next thing is just to make sure that the door is closed by increasing the fee that people pay to be able to get that H1B. So that has stopped that H1B route. Now we're back to the EB3. Okay, so the EB3 was going well. People were going out to other countries to get their interview date because Nigerian embassy, Lagos embassy was so overwhelmed and packed with volumes of applicants. Okay, at a point they even had to change their website because their old website was malfunctioning. They have to change it to another one. All right, which is a good development. We all liked it because the old website was already becoming like, I don't know if the right word to use, but a lot of people were using that website to defraud people. They would go there, book fake invitations, and if you want invitation, they will go back to them. They will increase the fare. Sorry, if you want dates with the embassy date of your appointment, they will increase the amount that you're going to pay them like times 20. Some of them do like times 50 of the amount, and you have to pay it if you really want to get interviewed faster. You understand? So they have this, they go, into the system, they book a date, normal booking. You would think is a normal booking, but the person is not going for interview, just waiting for people to come to him and say, hey, I need dates. Do you have dates? The person will tell you, I have dates. You go there and on schedule so that you can book in that date. So if the person on schedules, you book there, you pay the person the amount. The amount was so outrageous. So people were doing that. A lot of things were going on smoothly until January 1st, 2026. It started with July last year when we had like there is a partial ban in some 7 countries in Africa. And then later on this year, 2026, January 1st, we now saw the full intent of the proclamation that was made on the 16th of December 2025. So on the 16th of December 2025, Donald Trump, the President of America, made a declaration that some countries are going to be banned because of some religious violence that is going on. And one of those countries was Nigeria. I know there were a list of other countries that got affected by that. This story I'm telling you is just for you to connect the dots and see where we're coming from, and also appreciate the journey of an African nurse. The journey of an African nurse has to be applauded because we have been through the thick, we have been through the thin, and it's not easy. It is not easy. All right, so those in the waiting room, I'm letting them in. So just let them know that I'm letting everybody in. Okay. So now, after that January 16, sorry, December 16 proclamation, I had a meeting with all of you, and I told you guys that we're going to wait and see how this interview will pan out. Because I wanted 1 or 2 persons to go for the interview and come back and give us an experiential knowledge of what we're actually up against. And that is why I'm here today to tell you that a few persons have gone for the interview and they've brought back feedback or from the embassy. Okay, now I want to know something. Is everybody hearing me on the comment section, please? Are you able to hear me? Please let me know on the comment section, please. Can you guys hear me? Because I saw a note from someone saying that they're not hearing me, and that would be, I don't know how to do that if nobody has been hearing me since. Okay, so I see that people are able to hear. Okay, thank you. All right, now, so let's go a little bit slower so that at this point I want to be slower so that we can all understand and follow through at the same time. Okay, so the first the first message that we got from the embassy in Lagos, sorry, the first message that we got from the embassy in Cotonou was on the 30th of December last year. So now the message was that families that go with multiple children, like if you go with 6 children, 5 of your children will be given and then 1 will be left out. And there was no reason for that. The first person that did on the 30th was given a letter that the first child, her first child, they are questioning the DNA, the paternity of the child, that they wanted them to go for DNA tests. And that's what I always say. I always say that you people should be prepared. You should be prepared for some of these consular officers, because some of them can actually be, they can be the overzealous actors that I was talking about. People that if you tell them the president said do A, they will do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, because they are pro whatever ideology that is going on. You understand? So when you hear that, when you are going for these embassy interviews, please kindly go with multiple evidence that would make sure that it is undoubtable. Like nobody can doubt that you are the true father or the true mother of those you're going with. For instance, if you have things like your baby dedication, the day that you took your baby to church as a picture, please go with it. All of them, they are very important. We've done this before. I've gone through all the things that you guys need to be going to embassy with. Okay? So there are things that will make these consular officers to flag your application, and they cannot flag your application without having an evidence. In fact, for them to flag your application, they already know what they are going to write on your file. You understand? So it's left for you to prove it. So that's why I'm like, if you go with multiple evidence, okay? You have your baby birth certificate is there, approved birth certificate that must look like a birth certificate. Like if you have somebody that is 12 years old and you're presenting a birth certificate that is so new, brand new with 2026 or 2025 dates on it, somebody is gonna query that, unless you have a reason. Or maybe you can say, oh, the first one I got was, damaged in fire outbreak or something like that, and I got a new one, which anybody would sympathize with you if you say that, But going there without evidence or going with questionable evidence is something that I don't really approve of it. And that was the first issue that we had from people that went on the 30th. I think on the 30th or 31st of this month. That was the first problem that we had from those people. Okay, they came back and they told us that they have been sent to go and do DNA test. Okay, now when they send you for DNA test, they will just tell you you will do a DNA test. They will not give you any link. They will not show you any method or how to go about it. Every other thing, every other instructions you're going to get them on a mail. And then you remember, these embassies are so busy. They are fully like they are so busy that if you are expecting that, when they give you something like that, you get a response in 24 hours, you will not. Okay, so these people, they did not get a response immediately. So thank God for the lady that was in constant communication with me. I told her to keep on emailing them, keep on emailing them, email them nonstop, and tell them you are still waiting for the direction, because I know that the 2026 deadline for the 1st of January, it will still come, and I didn't want it to affect her. You understand? She already has visa for 5 members of her family. It's just one child that she had that she wanted to add. Okay, so now she started emailing them, and then they ended up sending her a link to book the DNA test at an approved location in Nigeria. But that location that so to book the DNA test at an approved location in Cotonou, but that location, the only date available for DNA test is February, I think February 19th or so. February 19th, that's the date that is available for this. So you see, the time is already going. So this is what, like, not having a lot of evidence can cause. You understand? So though this may not be the case of this particular lady, but I'm saying just to be sure that nothing on your own side prompts your interviewer to ask for further evidence, or prompts them to just go with all the evidence that you can go with. Go with all the evidence that you can go with to the embassy. Don't say no evidence is too little. When I knew this was the first time in 2015 when I went for my interview. I wanted to come to the US on a B1, B2 in 2015. I went for interview that year, and I saw people carrying a full album of their wedding, carrying so many documents that were old, archaic, maybe documents of houses that they bought, evidences of different things that they have. They were just going with it. And they would tell you, no, want to go with it because they want to present all the evidence in case anything is in doubt. They would like to be able to present all the evidence at the embassy. So please, if you didn't learn anything from me today, learn this. Whenever it's time for you to go for the embassy, no evidence is too small. Go and watch my previous video about the visa interview preparations and see all the things that I listed there that you're supposed to present to the consular officer, and all the questions that they're supposed to ask you. Prepare for all those questions, go with all those documents, and you'll be able to scale through in your interview. All right, so that was the first problem that we had. Then another person has that same issue again that came up, but that person was that she wanted to add a newborn in the embassy, and they said no, that they won't be able to add the newborn. They won't be able to issue the newborn a visa. I don't know what the reason was. Okay, but this is a process that has been going. In fact, this is the worst time to be an immigration lawyer in the United States, because everything is changing. Everything is changing. You can know that this is the same system that is working since 2020, whatever, since you started practicing law in the United States. But in this administration, you have to go to school again to learn the new laws because a lot of things have changed. So you can't really say these are things that are working. And that's why some of these things that we are talking here is very important because you're put abreast with all the new trending changes in the immigration world in the United States. So, and these are things we get from experience of people who have gone for interview and came back and called to do a recall with us on how the interview went. Okay, so please kindly keep on attending these meetings. You will learn a lot. I'm encouraging you attend this meeting as often as you can. You're going to learn a lot because there's a lot going on. I wrote down a lot of things going on now that I'm going to run through later on in this meeting. Okay, so now after that changes, there's another change that we saw in the visa issuance in different African countries. So before now, you will be able to add anybody in the process in your US visa application process. But what we noticed is before you can add and your process will continue without any problem. But recently, we've been noticing that once you are able to add somebody in your process, it kind of resets the system. So even if you have gotten your case complete and you add somebody, if you are supposed to get a date at some time, you will find out that you're not getting that date. Why? Because the person you added has prompted the system to do further verification of whoever that you added in your family. So they will do a verification. The person has to go through the entire process. So what I tell people is it's still better. It is still better to add people at the embassy. Like if you have a newborn that you did not add in your process, so it is better to add in the embassy because right there inside the embassy, they can give you all the assistance and help you to add the person and then process the visa as they want to. You understand? But once you add before you go for the interview, it resets the system and delays your ID from coming because you cannot get an ID. Sometimes if you have not even gotten a case complete and you add somebody, it will delay you from getting a case complete. It has been a recurring issue with most of the applicants that go for the interview. So this is just for us to be abreast, just to learn a little bit about the current trends and what has been going on with the system. All right. So the next thing that happened on the 2nd of January was the first applicants that we had that had to go for interview. The lady went for interview and was interviewed with the family. And after the interview, she was told, okay, we invited you for interview. Everything looks great. Your family situation, all the questions that we asked you, you got them correctly, but we will not be able to issue a visa now because of the proclamation of the president. So when things changes, we are going to call you. So that's what they are telling. So if you have interview from now going forward, that's what you're going to be receiving. And you put it in a paper and tell you that when things changes in future, that they are going to call you. Now, normally, every presidential proclamation is supposed to be reviewed after 180 days. 180 days is like 6 months. The Secretary of State, I think his name is Marco Rubio, is supposed to review all these presidential proclamation and be able to revert back to the president and say, we banned these people because of religious violence, and now there is no religious violence in their country. So it's up to you. It's your own idea, discretion. If you want to unban them, then that's fine. That's what normally is supposed to be done. And then there are also cases where the president will come out before the 6 months time lag to come out and say we are going to revoke this proclamation if things improves. Okay, now we all know the countries that have been involved, and we know the fight that have been, having against terrorism, um, genocide, and the rest of them. So I don't know who's going to do the measurements, like to know if these countries are actually meeting up with the expectation on their own side, because it will be hard to determine in a country where you have bad people and good people, the bad people will always show themselves. So if there's any person that is killed in a church or in anywhere, and then that circulates on the internet, that might delay everybody's process because the person that banned us is looking at the Christian genocide. Okay, so now if there's anything that keep on happening in this country, it's going to keep on triggering their they're going to still be adamant in really, unbanning us. Okay, so we're still going to be where we are. You understand? So the situation is very, very dire. So, but we are believing God. There's nothing God cannot do. I'm a Christian. If you're not a Christian, I'm sorry. If you're a Muslim, whatever, just believe in your God. But I believe in my God that things will get better. You understand? I believe, I pray, and I encourage everybody to pray. Pray to whatever that you have as your own deity. Pray to him, believe that it's going to happen. I'm believing God that things will change. But I want people to be ready so that when things changes, you are ready for the relocation. I just want you to know that this is a regular thing that happens with US in my immigration. If you have studied US immigration, the doors are never open every time. The doors are open for a season, but you have to be ready for that season. If you have not written your NCLEX and you're thinking of coming to the United States, then you're joking. You have to get yourself ready, get on the door, and wait with others so that whenever the door is open, everybody gets in. Whenever it closes, then we are here. That's how we got in. You understand? It was not open 5 years before I got to the United States. It just got open at the time when I was applying. That was in 2015. You understand? So it opens and for a time and then it closed again and then it opens up again. So who knows? But the first thing is get yourself ready, make sure that you are in the right you have the right qualifications so that when the door opens you can come. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the visa ban. So the visa ban is not really what it is for some countries, especially Nigeria, is a partial ban, which is like we're not supposed it's not supposed that we're going to stop processing of these visas. They are processing it and keeping them on hold. So don't think that when you go for interview that is a waste of time. Your record that you showed up for interview, your record that there's nothing wrong with your application is still there with the consular officers. So what they do is they're collecting those data and they're keeping. So whenever there is opportunity for people to come in, you will be called. I think you will take precedence. You'll be the first to be alerted, you first to be given visa as well, because at that time you will be ready and then you're already screened before. So what I'm thinking is that there might be need for them to call you to come and do a kind of maybe medical just to check and see if everything is still okay and maybe a little bit of interview again before you come over. Okay, this is exactly what people have had to face because you are spending money for medicals. Some people have families of six. Money for medicals may be running into like millions, depending on how many members of your family. The process is not cheap. The process is not cheap. And then people are actually doing a great job. So I just want to take a moment to say, nurses, you guys are great. You guys have been through the thick and thin. And it's not like you're coming here to enjoy. You're coming here to work. You're coming here to be on night shift, be on day shift, stand on your feet for a long time. The work in the United States is not easy. You understand? You're coming here to do the nation a great service. So that's why I always tell you when you go to the embassy, don't present yourself as a beggar to come to the United States because you're actually coming here to work. You're coming here to permit me to use the word to suffer. You're going to work. You're going to take care of the elderlies. You're going to take care of the little ones. You take care of middle ages. Take care of those that have taken drug before and scattered their brain and they cannot even reason. They are confused. You're taking care of everybody. You understand? And it's not easy. And going through this to be able to come and render service to a nation is something that needs, I don't know, you guys needs to be applauded that you're trying to do this, to come here to also render service to this great country. So I want to applaud you. You've been through a lot, and I also want to, commend that you guys are going to get through it. This one will soon pass, okay? It's going to be one of the things that we would record that we stayed through to the end. And just know that we will not run away. Decency NCLEX Academy, we are going to stay through with you guys on this journey onto the day that we will have you as a guest on this program, coming to give us your journey and mentioning how that all these things that we have been saying have helped you in your journey. All right, so I believe it. I believe it's going to happen. I believe one day all these things that we're going through, all these things that we're going through or passing through will be a thing of the past. I believe it so much. So I want you to believe it with me too. This is going to pass one day. The proclamation of the president will not be an everlasting one. One day we're going to have him make a decree that this is going to be reversed, and it's going to bring joy to a lot of people, especially those in the exclusive pre-arrival group. If you're not in the exclusive pre-arrival group, I want to encourage you. You have to get in that group if you have passed NCLEX, because there's a lot of information that we share on that group. Kindly make sure that you find yourself in that group. It's a group of nurses that have passed NCLEX. And if you have not written your NCLEX, I don't know if one of my specialists is here. Please kindly drop the link to our classes and all our WhatsApp platforms so that people who have not written their NCLEX can join. We're still going to be here. We'll prepare a lot of people. We'll use this season and prepare so many people to be able to write NCLEX and pass. Okay, now let me shock you. When you go to countries like India, for instance, okay, in India, there is virtually, I wouldn't say, I don't have the statistics, but the way it looks to me is that in every family, there must be somebody in India that is in the United States. Either you're in the United States or you're working for the United States from India. That's how it is. So they sport labor a lot, and how do they start? They start by preparing young people who are, who are growing up, nurturing them into going into the, jobs that are, are marketable in the United States, jobs that are in high in demand in the United States, like tech, like nursing, and the rest of them. Likewise, Filipinos, if you go to any hospital in the US, if you don't find Filipinos there, just go. Know that the hospital is not good. The hospital is not good if you go to a hospital in the US and in your unit. I'm not talking about the entire hospital. In your unit, in your floor, in your message floor, if you don't find a Filipino in that department, then that department is wrong. I'm telling you the gospel truth. So that is how they have been. And that started by them trying as much as possible to be ready. Okay, so India and Filipino at some point, India, Filipino, and China, at some point, three of them were pushed back 16 years for almost, I monitored that thing for almost 7 years. They were pushed back 16 years backlogged. So which means if you finish your nursing program today, you write your NCLEX today, you wait 16 years before you can travel to the United States. And they maintained it for a very long time. And guess what? Most of the NCLEX centers, they are in Philippines, they are in India, they are in China. Because those people, they don't joke. They will still write the exam. They will wait that 16 years. And after the 16 years, they will come to the United States. So if people like that can have patience to wait on the queue, I don't know what will make us that our own is even undecided. It can change any day. Not to be able to go ahead and write NCLEX, get yourself ready, and do the get agency. Even at this point, some agencies are still accepting people that they are going to file for I-140. So get those agencies, apply and get accepted, work with them, let them file for you, get your I-140 approval, get on that very end where they say it is the proclamation that is not holding, that is now holding you. That's where I want you to stop. That's where I would like you to stop. Get to the point where they say the only thing holding you from coming to the United States is the presidential proclamation. But if you have not gotten to that point where the only thing holding you is the presidential proclamation, then you're not supposed to hold back. You are not supposed to stop. You're not supposed to stop. So whatever I'm saying here today, even though it's not a good news, so to say, but to those that have not written an NCLEX, you have nothing. You have nothing that I've said here that is supposed to stop you from going forward and writing your NCLEX. Okay. Now let me go over some other things that has happened before I go to more of the encouraging words that I want to give you guys today. Okay, now there is something that was also said by the President of the United States. I think this one came out on the 2nd of January this year. There's something they called a visa bond. Okay, so for some of these countries that were banned, so they're introducing something they call a visa bond. So the visa bond is It is actually for people who want to apply for tourist visa, like the big politicians, for instance. They want to apply for tourist visa to the United States. They have to give the United States a security deposit. It's bond, but it's called, to me, I feel it's a security deposit. Like here in the United States, if you want to buy a house, they will ask you, or if you want to rent a house, they will ask you to put down a security deposit. The day you will leave the house, they will check if you didn't spoil anything. You understand? They will give it back to you. But if you spoil something, they will go and minus it from the money that you paid as a security deposit. So that's exactly what is happening. So they are doing a bond. The United States government is introducing a bond. They are introducing a bond, and that bond is that when you apply for US visa, like the tourist visa, and you are given the visa, before you can come to the United States, you have to pay $15,000. The consular officer will tell you, oh, you have been approved for your visitor's visa, but you have to pay $15,000 to the United States government. Okay? So one of the ways that they're going to take away this money is that money is not going to be your own. One of the ways they will take it away is that if you come here and you're supposed to leave, because each visa for the visitors visas, they're not lasting for only 3 months. So if you're supposed to stay 3 months and leave, if you stayed more than 3 months, that money is gone. You have violated the law, and that $15,000 is gone. Okay? So if you happen to get into any crime, if you happen to get into any crime in the United States, that $15,000 is gone. So anything that you do that violates the basis on which your visa was granted, the money will be lost. You understand? So it's something that they brought out newly. So the visa bond is a thing now. I've never seen countries that do visa bond. I might be wrong, but I've not seen a country that do visa bonds. But United States has put it out there. And just know that you see Canada, you see United States, you see UK, you see Australia. Some of the things that are happening in the United States now might be one of the strategies that some of these other countries might start implementing. You understand? So, but one thing I know is that if it doesn't work out very well, then everything will be broken down. Now, how do I mean? So sometimes when you look back, you have to look front as well. When you worry for the rain, you have to worry for the sun. Okay, so we are worried right now in the United States about like illegal immigrants, where the United States government is trying to cut down illegal immigrants, but there is a worsening situation in the United States. That's the healthcare crisis that the United States people are having. One of those healthcare crises is that most of the people here don't really want to work. A lot of people, either the aging population of the environment or just because of choices that people make, many people don't get into healthcare anymore because you can get into tech and make your money. You can get into social media content creation and make your money. There's a lot of things that people get into and they make a lot of money. So why go to healthcare where you're going to have to clean poops, where you have to, deal with all the confused people, mental health, all those kind of people, you're gonna get into situations in the healthcare. So a lot of people do not want to work healthcare. So this is something that happened before, and this is something that I feel that is going to happen soon. There is a category of visa that is meant for healthcare workers. Okay. Now that EB3 was a category of visa that was meant for healthcare workers so that they can bring us here quickly to solve the healthcare needs or healthcare crisis in the United States. Okay, so I'm so sad that it's been affected because I felt like when they make such laws and they give exceptions, that this is supposed to be one of the priority in the exceptions. The exception that healthcare is in their need of staff. Okay, and if you don't bring qualified medical staff from other countries to come here, then we're going to be in danger. Sometimes you may go to ER and you stay, they tell you they don't have nurse to take care of you. Now, what is happening in the US hospital, to be honest with you, many hospitals that you hear, normally when I was coming to the United States, what I heard is like in the med-surg floor, you will have 4 patients to 1 nurse, which is the standard. But right now, most hospitals in the United States are now doing 7 patients to 1 nurse. What does that tell you? That they are getting overwhelmed. And people come to work and they are told they're going to handle 7 patients. And I say, you know what? I quit. I don't want to handle 7 patients in one night. That's going to be a hell of a night. I don't want to do it. People just say, okay, I'm going to quit today. And they just leave. So when that continues to happen, when that goes on the increase, it's gonna trickle down to affecting some of the policymakers. And US is very big on listening to people at the grassroots. They're going to pick up that information and they're going to make a way for nurses. So nurses, you guys are not affected. It may be a temporary delay, but I'm telling you, this is gonna go out quick. So they have, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not advertising for them, but the Advanced Healthcare Workers CEO used to be one of the policymakers. He used to be one of the people that used to go to, communicate the healthcare challenges to the people in the parliament, like the senators and all that. He will communicate it to them and they will help to make laws that will favor immigration. I know she shared a story of how she was interacting with some of them that led to some policies that they made prior to the time that we came in. All right, so it's going to happen. There's policies that are going to be made tomorrow that is going to change things for nurses. And I don't know when it's going to be made, but I know for sure things like that will come up because I have overheard a senator, talking about it, that these policies that are being made, that some people are supposed to be exempted, especially for those that work in healthcare. All right, so it's going to come up in the recent time. So when it comes up, do you have your NCLEX? Are you ready for the journey? That's the question. When it comes up, are you ready? Because if you're not ready, then it's not for you. Then even you being here today is in vain. It won't be, I don't think it will be any good that you came here and then you're not ready at the time that everybody wants to leave. All right, so there's also another law that was made, new visa restrictions. This is people that were partial and now they are complete, total. There are no travels, there are no visa. They are suspending every visa activity in this country. So if you're transferring your case to Burkina Faso, I want you to be very, very careful because there is a restriction on Burkina Faso. I don't know if it's going to affect the embassy and if it's going to affect you. All right, so Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Laos, South Sudan, Mali, and Niger. So these 7 countries, they gave them a complete ban recently. This is just happening, I think, on the 2nd of January. So please, why I'm mentioning it is I know some of my nurses transfer their cases to Burkina Faso. So if you are doing that, please be very careful. If you have done it already, please go with your words. Go with your words. Go there and be able to tell them that, hey, I did this before the presidential proclamation. Okay, so they should be able to have a concession or consider you because this happened before and not after. Okay, so but if you have not done it yet, if you are trying to still transfer, please, it's just to be on the safe side, just avoid Burkina Faso for now. All right, so yeah, so another thing is that there is rumors that H1B might be stopped completely in February. So I'm not sure how that will pan out. They might stop the lottery one and just do the cap exempt one because right now nobody is doing the lottery one. I don't think anybody is paying 100,000. I haven't seen Trump come out to say, because okay, that the gold card that they brought out, he has come out to say it has made billions for the United States. But this H1B issue, I've not seen him come out to say this is the amount that it has made for the United States. So that's why I knew that was just like they were trying to stop or close that door. All right. So, and then if you're in the United States and you're trying to have your interview in the United States, you're trying to become a citizen in the United States, there is a change. There's a change, and the change is that now, before we used to have 10 questions to be answered, and you must answer 6 correctly when you go for the interview. But right now, it has been increased to 20 questions, and then you must answer 12 correctly. So 20 questions, you must answer 12 correctly, and if you do not answer 12 correctly, you have to rebook your appointment for citizenship. So that's another thing. So if you're here and you're preparing for your citizenship, please start on time to begin to read that US interview booklet. Begin to read it so that this will not become a problem for you. All right. And then for for those that have gotten their visas and are trying to come to the United States, there is a lot of changes that might happen sometime later in the year. I think they are trying to designate some airports that first-time newcomers to the United States has to use those airports to come in. Like the first place that you will land must be in these states, in these airports. Okay, so that's something that is coming up. I think they mentioned a few airports. Washington, those airports is one of them, and they mentioned about 7 more airports that will be in that number. So just keep your ears out so that you don't land in a place and they tell you to book another flight to come to the place where you will be screened before you come in. So this is something that is also in the works. It has not started yet, but it's going to start any moment. So if you're coming or planning to come, maybe July or May or something, just keep your ears out so that, and I will say it in this meeting as well. Once they, bring out those airports, I'll be able to say it here. All right. So please, the last thing I want to say, be careful about what you say on your social media, please. Be very, very careful about what you say on your social media. In fact, if possible, go to your social media handles and screen them by yourself up to 5 years before now. They are checking it. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And even if you have gotten your visa, don't say that you are in the United States already. You are not here until you are here. Okay, you are not in the United States until you're here. I've seen people who got visa and came to the United States, landed in the airport, and there at the border, like what is it called, point of entry, the Department of Homeland Security, they turned them back. They told them to go back. So you're not here until you're here. And I'm not talking about EB3, I'm talking about like B1, B2, visitors visa, and the rest of them, J visas and the rest. Okay, so it happens. So you are not here until you are here. So if you happen to have gone for your interview and you've gotten your visa, please, your social media handle is not a space for you to talk anyhow about anybody. There's no free speech again. So don't say there is free speech. I can talk about this person as I want. I can talk about this religion as I want. I can talk about, just be very, very careful when you go out there on your social media. Please, I'm begging you, all of you, you will remember these words. And then for people who are here already on a green card and you're trying to get your citizenship, be careful. Avoid problem. Avoid problem. Now, one of the things that they use to deny green card sponsorships here in the United States is domestic violence. You beat your wife, it goes into your record, and then any crime, domestic violence is a crime. Okay, so avoid it. Avoid it as much as you can so that you will not have problem with your process. So once you get here, the journey is not done yet, until you become a citizen. Okay, so kindly, when you get here, avoid problems, live peacefully with your wife. Follow peace with your wife, follow peace with your children. Don't get into any situation that would warrant people to call police for you, except it's a car crash. That is okay, and not like a car crash under influence. Not that you went somewhere, drank too much, and crashed your car, and they tested you and noticed that you are drunk. That will be considered a DUI, and that is an offense. Okay, you might even be stopped from driving. So, but please, when you come here, try as much as possible to stay on the side of peace until you get your your citizenship. Even when you get your citizenship, nobody gets anything from being troublesome. So just stay on the side of peace. Now, I'm going to take questions, and then after questions, I have some few words of encouragement, judging from things that have happened before, and then we would, go back again and encourage ourselves. And I'm promising you this year, we have a lot of people lined up already. People are even requesting to be on this program by themselves. So for February is filled up. March, I'm already feeling matched up with a number of guests that will be coming here to speak to you people. So I'll keep showing up. I'll keep showing up here every Friday to talk to you people, and I'll bring my guests with me to talk to you people about the United States, how they cope when they came here and all that. I'll be coming here to share those stories with you. And when I come here, I want to see you here as well. All right. So we're going to spend like 20 minutes to take questions. So if you have any question that you want to ask and you want to use the microphone, please kindly let me know by signifying using the reaction button to raise your hand, and I would give you the mic to speak. I would do the people that want to speak first before we go over to the people that I have question on the comment section. All right. Yeah, Christy, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the information. God bless you.
You're welcome.
My question is as regards to the H1B visa. I see that there are some agencies that are still advertising that. I don't want to mention name. So what will be your take? Will you advise people to go with them? Because when you ask them about the rules that the president has put in about the $100,000, they'll say there's there's no new rule. They're still working on it. They've not heard any new thing concerning that. That it will be better for you to try and not to give up. You don't know. So what would be your take on that kind of H1B advice for someone that I've seen that advice from an agency that is actually recruiting both for EB3 and H1B? Will you advise any one of us to go with that at the moment? Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's a trial and error thing. So they are going to be trialing out the process. Nobody is a custodian of all knowledge right now. So, but what I feel that they are trying to do is, first of all, they want to explore if there is an exemption for medical practitioners like healthcare workers. If there is an exemption in that $100,000 that Trump said, because there's a caveat to it where they said some people are exempted. So they want to exploit, and they cannot exploit themselves because they are here. So they need a bunch of people that they're going to use to try it, to explore, to see if there could be an exemption that they would get from that. Like you're exempting people that are, class of people that work for the United States. So, and another thing I feel that they may be trying to do is that they may try to see if they can use non-profit hospitals in the United States to apply for those positions, because most times they give non-profit hospitals some kind of privileges that they don't give other people that make profit. So that might be two things they want to do. It won't be bad if you try them out. If you have all the time, if you have not signed with any agency, you can try them out. Or if they are the one that is doing your EB3 and you want to see if they can explore that option for you as well, there is no harm in doing that. It may be a good way to find out if it happens. If it's there, it benefits you, and glory be to God, you would be here. All right. So I would say just try and see if it works. But all of that is trial and error. Nobody knows if it's going to work or not. You might get all the way to the end and it's not there. Just like how we all hoped that the EB3 was exempted because of the class of the EB3, but at the end of the day, we noticed that it was more of a visa suspension that was communicated to the embassy. So they suspended issuance of visa. Not that visa is not there, but they suspended the issuance of visa from these countries, okay, no matter the category. So we're hoping that some things will be evaluated, reviewed, and then maybe improved on as time goes on. All right, thank you so much. I have multiple grace. I don't know if I answered your question. If I didn't, you can raise your hand again and clarify. Multiple grace, you have the time now to ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, good evening. How are you doing, sir? Can you tell us where you're calling us from or joining us from, and then your name, and then you can go ahead and ask your question.
I'm joining from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Stanley.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Please, I would love to find out the implication of ineligibility under 212F. This is basically because some of the embassies, like the South African embassy and few other ones, have added some a kind of description to their own ineligibility form, which to so many, they take that as an interpretation to what the ineligibility under 212F implies. So please, I would love you to throw more light on that. There are people that are caught in the web. They don't know whether to go for the interview or not to go. So if they know the implications of not going and the implications of getting a 212F, they will be able to take a decision.
Okay. All right. So let me first of all start by explaining what 212F means. So 212F is a form that they give to you to show that you have the ability to maybe contest whatever they said, or you reapply, permission to reapply for admission into the United States. That's what it means. Okay, so now is an application that you can complete, and then you would reapply to them. So most embassies I've noticed, some people sent me messages on this as well, that they would give them this 212F. Some people do not get this 212F, and all of them are still in the same category. Okay, they are still in the same category. And to answer your question, if you have gone all the way to getting your interview date at this point, you have done your medicals, and you are now contemplating whether or not to go. For me, I would say if I have gotten this far, I will go for the interview. You know why? Because I believe that if things begins to move forward, okay, if things happen to move forward, there's going to be a lot of people that would be considered. And people that will be considered are, number one, those that are current. Number two, those that have done interview and they were told to go ahead and wait until things, improve. Okay, those are the people that will be considered. Between these two people, who are the people that are likely to have a free passage through the embassy? Is those that have gone before. Okay, so if you have gone before, gone for an interview, everything checks out, there's nothing, there's no problem, they did not identify any DNA issues, then there's no need for much work to be done when you come back the second time. If you ever have to come back the second time. Of course, I know there will be a kind of show face kind of interview that you have to do before you come over. But at that point, you have already established a connection with the embassy, you have a record, somebody has reviewed your file and just told you everything looks good, but you cannot come in at this time. So for me, I feel if you have gotten to this stage, it's better to go. But if you have not gotten to this stage, instead of wasting money to go and do medicals, do all the immunizations and everything, just put everything on pause until things improve. Then you can go. Because I just don't want you to pay for that medicals, and at the end of the day, the medical expire. Because if this thing stays for more than 3 months, that medical is going to expire. And if you're going to be given another a visa, you will need a medical. So by that time, you have to do another medical. You understand? So that's my own. So if you have gotten all the way to the end, like all those people that who have celebrated your ID, please, if you want, you can go. I mean, this is my advice, but if you want, you would go. If you want, you can say you don't want to go. But me, I'm also seeing refusing to go for an interview as also a negative thing on you, unless you want to just strictly go there, schedule your interview and make sure you're on schedule. But don't just book an interview and on the day of the interview, you don't show up. That's not going to look good on you. Okay, so if you don't want to go, ensure that you actually unscheduled your interview. Double check it. If you unschedule it today, tomorrow go back in there and check if it's still unscheduled or the thing came back again. Okay, to make sure that there is no chances that there will be an interview and you are the one that needs to be interviewed and you didn't show up. Okay, that's my advice. If you have gotten all the way to that point, I would say go. It might still be of benefit. If this whole thing happens and gets reversed within 3 months, you might still be happy that you did. But if it doesn't within 3 months, then you would need to do another medical. So it's up to you. The choice is yours, and also to your agency, whatever you guys decide. But that's what I would do. All right. So,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Progress, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, please. There's an aspect I actually wanted you to touch. Yeah, some of the agencies are asking their candidates to hold on to know if they can get national interest exemption for them before they can proceed for the interview. So, and I equally know that as you pointed out, that not showing up for the interview um, has a negative implication. But the agencies or the agency in question is asking their candidates not to show up, that they will reschedule the interview on their behalf while they work on getting a national interest exemption for them. So I don't know. There are some of the people involved that are showing a lot of concern about the arrangement, and they are really seeking clarifications on that.
Okay. Right. For me, what I would say to that is it all depends on you. And at this point, your agency, you have to obey your agency. I'm not here trying to tell you to disobey your agency. Please, whatever your agency decide, if you have not succeeded in convincing them on your own point, which is what I'm here to give you, if you don't succeed in convincing them on your point, just remember that they are your employer. And at this point, you can't afford to lose them because that would mean like going back to square one. Okay, so that's the implication. So they are still your partner in this journey. All right. So, but I'm here to give you an advice. So if they tell you to not show up, actually, please, on that one, I would say no. Go ahead and unschedule your interview. But the implication of unscheduling interview, especially EB3, is that you are not the one that scheduled it. You are not the one that scheduled your EB3 interview. Or did anybody here schedule their interview? Your dates were given to you, which means you have to wait for the embassy to contact you again and give you another date. Okay? So it's only non-immigrant that can go ahead and schedule their interview at the date that they want. For immigrants like this, you have to wait until you get your interview date by the embassy. And they do that based on how available they are. They might just have like 6 cubicles that will do interviews for immigrant petitions. Okay, and that 6 cubicles are going to be maybe they will do like a total of 30, 30, 30 each in a country of 300 million people. You understand that at least 150 million wants to travel. You understand? You see, it's not enough. So is get the ability to get that interview again is what I'm questioning. Because if you're on schedule, you're not guaranteed that the next time that interview dates will fly around that you are going to get. Of course, they don't know why you're unscheduled, then they would have to give other people chances as well. So who monitors that process? Who ensures that you're going to be invited back for an interview again? I don't know. So if you bring up some things like this to people that are knowledgeable about the process, they might reason with you and see reasons why you can, but I actually get the point of the national interest waiver or national, that's NIW, or the what is it called, the whatever you mentioned that the agencies are trying to get. And I don't believe that it's difficult to get those things. I believe these are things that can be drafted, unless it needs to go through an approval, but I believe it's something that a lawyer, an attorney can draft and then give it to you. You go with it to the embassy, and I will be happy to see that work, because that will mean that all the nurses will just come back here and say, keep on going to the embassy, but go with national interest waiver form or documentation, and that will be the next thing that we'll be doing. So we are open to a lot of things. Things are going to change drastically. It's not going to be something that will last long, that will be in this limbo. Things are going to change, and when things change, I want all of you to be ready. So multiple grades, to my own point, I feel like that form that they want to give can be gotten and given to people within days. And if it's possible, those people can show up for the interview or unschedule the interview at least. They should not just leave it and not show up. It's going to tell a bad story about them to the consular officers. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. And let's have Chioma Vera Oba. Chioma Vera, you can ask your question. Chioma, you can unmute and ask your question. While Choma is getting ready, Ngozi, okay,
Hello.
Choma is ready now. Okay, go ahead. What's your
Good
question?
afternoon,
Your
sir. Thank you
location?
so much for this meeting.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I just wanted to ask because I have. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you,
Hello,
but a
sir.
little faint though. Can you
Hello.
speak up a little bit?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, okay. I say that I have a dual citizenship, but I applied with a Nigerian passport. Okay. Following this ban now, I contacted my IVF to know the possible of changing my past nationality to another country, the one that is not under the Bangalore, right? And so I said I can do it, but I don't know how that is going to affect me. Because right now, I think that's just the best thing to do, just to change, to remove the Nigerian passport and put the other one. So he said I can do it, I can go ahead, but I don't know how it's going to affect because my PD is 2023.
Okay, you still have
So
time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might work. Nobody knows it all at this point. It depends on the consular officer. Where is your country of birth? Is it Nigeria?
My country of birth is Nigeria,
Okay, so yeah. And you are a UK citizen as well?
Brazil.
Brazil, okay. Uh, yeah, I think just give it a try. That might be a saving grace. I think it will work. Because citizenship is citizenship, no matter the method of naturalization. You understand? It's still citizenship. So if you have dual citizenship, I think it's gonna work. So go ahead and try that. I think it's gonna work. And let me know, please, when you do it, so that some people that are in that category. I know a lot of my nurses that are in UK have stayed in UK for 6 years. Now they are either permanent residents or they are citizens. I don't know. We might have people that might be in the same shoe and would love to hear how that goes. You have my number, right? So just let me know at the end of
Yes, I
the
do.
whole process, please. I would like to know how it went.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So we have another person, Ngozi. Ngozi, you can ask your question.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good
My
evening.
name
How
is
are you doing?
Ngozi. I'm very well, thank you. I'm joining this call from Lagos, Nigeria, and I'd like to start by appreciating your time and for all the information that you have passed to us this evening. They've been very helpful. Now, the penultimate speaker actually spoke my thought completely. And so for this partial ban that just proclamation of December 16th, the people that are worst hit right now, I mean, the category of nurses that are worst hit of this ban is the people who just got their interview dates. Because now they are torn between going for the interview and not going for the interview. And it's worse because most of our agencies are saying, don't go for the interview, especially for some of us who have gone ahead, we've done our medicals. Some of us have even done a in-person medical screening. We're just waiting to go for our interview. And then the agency is saying, don't go. But in the light of all of the information you've given unto us this evening, it is still a big problem because, like you rightly identified, do not disregard what your agencies and your employers have said. And in the same light, you're also saying to ensure that you do not get a no-show notice for your schedule. So the question is, what do we really do? What is the way forward? What is the best decision for us? Thank you
So
very much, sir.
Yes, I'm gonna be very honest with you, okay? Um, what I think is that ultimately this is your process, right? Even though you have an employer, but it is you. You understand? Employer loses nothing. If your process gets complicated and you are told never to come to the United States again, your employer loses nothing. He will lose money, but that will not reduce him. He will find another candidate the next minute. You understand? So for something that I know that is not good, if your employer tells you to do something that is bad, I wouldn't advise you to follow your employer sheepishly and go and do something that is bad. So what I would say is on scheduling your interview is a very good thing. If you have decided that your employer you couldn't convince your employer that you really want to go and this is your reason for trying to go, what I would just say is try as much as possible to ensure you have the link, because you are the one that handled your DS-260 form. Nobody filled that form for you. You did it. So you have the ability to go through your applications and find out if there's a way to email the embassy or find a way to unschedule that interview. If you have decided not to go, find a way to communicate your resolution to the embassy that you won't be attending at this time. You are not obligated to say why. It's not a must that you write that letter, you say it's because my father died or because my community is burning or we have this, that. No, you're not obligated to say anything. I will not be able or I will not be attending the interview at this time due to some circumstances that are beyond my control. I would like to be rescheduled for another interview at a later date, to your discretion. That just put it like that and send it so that there will be a written evidence to show that you didn't come, and then you also made attempts to let them know that you won't be coming. At least let that space be given to someone else that wants to go. You understand my point? So instead of just that day, that space is there, nobody shows up, I think it's going to piss off a lot of people in that office if they see it that way. So I don't want it to be a no-show. I would prefer it to be like you're unscheduled. If you have decided not to go, let it be unscheduled. That's all I'm saying. You understand my
All right,
point?
sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. So who else has a question? Dorcas, you can ask your question now. Dorcas, let us know where you're joining us from and then your name, and then go ahead and ask your question. Please, you can use the reaction button to ask your question, please. Susan, if Dorcas is not ready, you can ask your question. I've asked you to unmute.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Hello.
Susan. How are you?
Do I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Okay, thank you so much for your time and for these updates that you keep bringing to us. We really appreciate. Mine is firstly sharing my previous experience. It might help this last speaker. So sometime in 2014. My dad was filing an immigration petition for myself and one of my siblings. And because I'm actually calling from Borno State, and we all know it's a conflict zone. So at the time, the network was cut off and we're not able to get the email in the notification that we're already invited for the interview. My dad at the time was a citizen, and he wrote to the embassy communicating that we were not able to access the email, so we missed the date. Surprisingly, we were given another date, though it took about 2 months or so, and to come back again. So that might be helpful. I think making a formal communication to the embassy puts you on the right path, and they are considerate when you do it the right way. So it's better to write ahead formally, notifying them that you will not be able to show up. You don't have to be explicit about the reasons. Then secondly, my question, sir. My question is about adding a spouse after you have DQ'd CC for a spouse for couples that got married post NCLEX, sir. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Susan, on your wedding. You didn't invite me. Okay, so yeah, you can add a spouse at any point in this process. Like I always say, it's always good to add a spouse, but depending on your stage in the process, if you are still before your DQ, fine and good, it's the best time to add. But if you go to add your spouse after your DQ, guess what? You're no longer DQ because you are not documentarily qualified. That means that person you added after your DQ has to be evaluated and put in your file. So that puts you a little bit backward on the line. So for me, I always advise people, before your DQ, make all the decisions. If there's anybody here and somebody you're serious with, and both of you have, taken the bold step to say you marry each other, just do it before the DQ, because once you do it after DQ, it sets you backwards a little bit. So documentarily qualified is documentarily qualified. You cannot add and still be qualified when those documents have not even been filed yet. So the best thing, do it now that you are documentarily qualified before it gets to the other side. So you're good on that, Susan. Congratulations to you. All right. And I have Dorcas. Dorcas, you can ask your question now.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, Dorcas, go ahead.
Thank you so much for this topic. I really appreciate. I'm calling from Edo State, Nigeria. My question is this presidential proclamation, how will it affect your I-140 filing? Will it be put on hold or will the process continue? Please, can you throw more light on this, sir? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. This proclamation does not affect visa processing. Is still going to go all the way until the end. So I-140 filing is still going to continue. I've not heard anything that people that filed for their I-140 were refused. No, you're still going to go. Once those things are merit-based. So the visa that you are applying for with the US is merit-based visa, which means you went through a process before you can qualify. That's why one of the things that you submit for your I-140 is your visa screen. Sorry, not your visa screen, your NCLEX pass. That's to show that you have passed NCLEX. Your qualifications to show that you went to school. Your transcripts, you submitted all that. And then also your English proficiency, that's your IELTS. Some people would require that, some people won't. But these are the things that you can use to back up your documents to show that you are actually qualified to work in the United States. So I would say it is a merit-based visa that goes through a process. So that process is not stopped. The only thing is that there is no issuance of visa. So I would say it's not affecting it negatively. It's not. It's not affecting the process. It's just affecting the outcome at the embassy. But it's a temporal hold. It's going to become easier as time goes on. Okay. I hope I answered your question, Dorcas. I have Tolulope. Tolulope, you can ask your question now. Let's see if we can rush to the comment section and do one or two there.
Okay, good evening, sir. Thank you for the information so far. I would like to ask, at some point in the discussion, you mentioned that when you have a dependent, you kind of like take it back in the process.
Sorry, go ahead.
You kind of like delay.
Please say that again, please.
Okay, so I said during the discussion, you mentioned that if one had a dependent to your application, that you kind of like take it backwards. So I want to know, like for somebody who has a newborn, but whose I-140 is yet to be approved, does that affect the person's progress in the process?
No. So if your I-140 is yet to be approved, then you can add your newborn. Okay. Where we are saying to tread carefully is when it has been approved and you're documentarily qualified. Your case has been moved to the Nigerian or Ghana or Kenyan embassy. It has been moved there already, and then they send you a message that case complete, MVC case complete. That's where we get scared. If you add people at that point, you might scare the whole system. So the best thing at that point is to try and go ahead and do your addition at the embassy, because when you do at the embassy, it's still the same thing. They're going to add the person seamlessly at the embassy and it doesn't affect or change anything. Okay, so but if you're not documentarily qualified, you can add before that. So that whole process goes together. Okay, Tolu, I hope I answered your question. And I have Peace. Peace, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. Speaking from Lagos, Nigeria. So my question is, in the last ban, in 2020, it was a total ban, but nurses were still able to travel. How was it done? And why is it different from the ban that we're having now, which is a partial ban? That's the question I have to ask.
So in the last ban, one of the things that triggered the last ban was they identified Nigeria as a country that does not have a database. Okay, which means anybody can come out from maybe cross the border through either Cameroon, Niger, or all those neighboring countries and come and maybe go to the authorities and get the birth certificate and claim that he's from one village when he's not, and get a birth certificate, go and get international passport and apply for US visa. So that's one of the things that they wanted to make sure that there is. And that's when, if you remember, Nigerian became very serious with NIN, BVN, all those kind of things came up. You understand? So yeah, so that was the reason for that ban. And it affected more of non-immigrants. Non-immigrant visas were majorly the people that were being, because those are the people that can actually approach the embassy and say, we just want to go and visit the United States. But for immigrant visa, is a process. Either your father is here, your wife is here, or you have, J visa or something that you're coming here to do a special skill job or something like that, EB3 and the rest of them. So that is a different class, and that did not affect. That was not affected, as along that line. But this one is based on religious, according to, in quotes, religious violence against the Christian, and this is supposed to be because of the fact that it's believed that so for me, what I feel is that when it crosses religious lines like this, and a lot of people might be angry, a lot of people might be sad about it. So I feel like this ban is more like is a kind of something they are doing to press on the government to be more serious with the protection of life. You understand? They're trying to trigger the government of Nigeria to be more serious with protecting the life of its citizens. You understand? That's why I believe that it will end anytime soon. Like it can end any day. If they decide that, oh, Nigerian government has done the right thing so far, so good, there's multiple evidence of, dissemination of the terrorists and their cohorts and their hideouts and the rest of them, then they will be able to, freely give us access as we had before. But I believe that there are also other things that can be done to cause them to review the entire system. For instance, medical professions are one of those professions that is highly in demand, and we supply a lot of that. We have a lot of population from Nigeria. So I believe with time they will be able to assess, and when the healthcare crisis crunches us on the system a lot, then they would be able to assess, and it relieves some of this ban will just go away. Okay, so I believe that will happen. I don't know how soon, but I know that the ban don't last forever. Ban is going to be there, and after some time, everything is going to be normal again. All right. I don't know if I answered your question, please, but yeah, that's the much information I have from the previous ban and what is happening currently. Okay, so let's have Benedict. Benedict, you can ask your question.
Yes, good evening, boss D.
Good
Thank you
evening.
so
How are
much for this. I'm calling from Enugu, Nigeria. So I want to ask, my question goes this way. What if, for let's say this is President Donald Trump's last tenure. If the next president comes, is this partial ban, all his bans, will it still be carried on to the next
Administration? No,
government?
no,
Will
it
it be
won't.
reviewed
No,
or
it
will it be?
won't. It won't. It expires with his tenure. Okay, it will expire with his
Oh,
tenure, so it will not be carried over to another thing. That's not how bans
okay,
are done.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and Dixon, you have a question. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to ask this question. And first, I must comment. Hello?
Yeah. We can hear you, Dixon. Let us know where you're joining us from.
Okay. My name is Okon Dixon. I'm calling from Turks and Caicos Island in the Caribbean. And this is my first time of joining Decency NCLEX platform. I must commend your efforts in giving us so much information. I really appreciate this. And my question, because during your presentation, you mentioned that somebody went for interview this January. I want to know whether she eventually got the visa despite the ban, because I didn't really understand that part, whether technically she was just denied because of the proclamation by the president. So please, can you just go through that aspect that you mentioned? Because at some point I got lost.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dixon. And yes, just to throw more light, so somebody went for the visa interview on the EB3 process. Somebody went there on the second, and I think I have a few people that have gone after her as well. So they were not given the visa, but they were not told that there is a refusal or a denial. So it's not a denial. They will give you a white paper, and if you have ever gone to embassy, some of the colored paper is like denial and refused. But they give you a white paper, and then on that white paper, what they are trying to explain in the paper is that they did not give you the visa today because of the presidential proclamation, that they will contact you when the situation improves or when the ban is lifted. Okay, so that's what they give to people that go to the embassy. So I think I have one of the paper. Let me try and read out what that letter says. I'll read it out real soon. Just give me 1 second. Let me find the paper. So, but ultimately, what they are saying, I'm trying to get the paper. What they are saying in that paper is that you were not given a visa because of the presidential proclamation of. They mentioned the date of the day that the president made that proclamation, and that's it. That's all the information that you would get from that letter, and they will say that they would contact you, if the situation improves. So that's what I started dealing with from the second of this year. Okay, for all those people that are nationals of Nigeria. And again, if you're from Kenya, if you're from Ghana and you're on this platform, it does not affect Kenya and Ghana. I've not heard that those two countries are affected, but I know majority of people who are here are from Nigeria. So, it affects Nigeria, unfortunately. All right. I hope I answered that question, sir. And I don't know your name, but it goes by Samsung. I've given you time to talk. And then after you would go ahead and read some questions on the comment section, and that will be it for today. All right. Go ahead and ask your question. Tell us your name and where you're joining us from.
Good day, sir. My name is Pelumi. I'm from Ado-Ekiti, Nigeria. Please, I want to make quick clarification. After the interview, although they will tell us that due to the ban, they are not issuing the visa, will they still hold on to our passport, or will be giving our passport back? That's just my question, sir.
Good question. So they would give you your passport back because there is no date in sight of when you'll be given your visa. Okay? They would give you your passport back. Normally, they would hold on to it if they have a date that they're going to give you. Like for some people that have DNA issues or people that have police clearance issues, sometimes they hold on to the passport and say, submit this evidence by next week Wednesday, and then you can come and get your visas. But for this one, they don't, because there is no date in sight for the approval. So they will just give you your passport. If they keep everybody's passport, then they will not have space in their office because there's a lot of passport that they will have. Judging by many people that come to them has dependents. So they don't keep those visas, they give them back. Okay. You have another question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Please, I want to also after we be giving back our passport, does it mean if they are to call us back, we'll have to start the interview all over by doing medicals and document review all over again? I just want to make a clarification, sir.
Yeah, if you joined us, we said that it depends. It depends at what point this whole thing gets resolved. If this gets resolved, in a timely manner, when your medicals are still okay, you will not go back and do medicals. But if at that time your medical has expired or elapsed, then you will need to do another medical. So it all depends. If it's called off tomorrow, if it's called off next week, then you'll be good to go. You understand? You just showed up last week and then today everything is okay. You'll be good to go. But if it takes time before it's called off, that's when there will be an issue. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's hear from Beke, the last person. I'm not going to allow any other person to speak. Beke, last one, and then we would go through the questions. Ask
Good
your
evening,
question.
sir.
Good evening. How are you
Good,
doing?
fine, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for the good work you're doing. We really appreciate. My first question is this: for those that have already gotten their ID, and okay, for those that have gone for the interview, they were given the 212 form. Is it possible that at the end of the ban and they are called back, is it possible that at a point in time they will be denied?
Because of the 212?
Is it possible that 212 form that they were given after the ban, when they are called upon, that their visa will be denied? Is there a
No.
possibility to that?
No. That 212 is exempting you or absolving you from the likelihood of somebody taking this as a denial. So it shouldn't be an instrument of denial again. Because if you go to the embassy, you're supposed to either get an approval or you get a denial. But now you're not getting either of those. You're getting something in the middle that says, come back again, and we would reassess the situation and give you a visa. So it shouldn't be an instrument. It shouldn't be a reason for the denial. Rather, it should be an authority in your hand. You should even guide that paper very well, because that's what you have as a proof. In case maybe system shuts down, nobody remembers that you showed up for the embassy. You can provide that paper as an evidence that you were there and you were given this. Okay, so it shouldn't be an instrument of denial. Okay.
Okay, so we can like boldly walk up and say, okay, even if you have gotten your ID and you've not done medical, I should go ahead, do it and get it and just be on the queue. Once the whole thing is sorted out, then you're good to go without
Well,
any fear.
yes, you can do that, but that's also to the abilities to the extent to which your agency understands you. If you want to go through the entire process and run through it and just add your name to the list of those that have attended the embassy and they were put on 212F, fine and good. There were times where a certain agency in 2018 was put on administrative processing. An agency, a whole agency, all the people with them were put on administrative processing. They cannot go to another agency, they just have to wait. These people waited for close to a year before they were approved, and then they were they were all given their visa. So that administrative processing, because of their agency did not have prevailing wage or something, it did not prevent them from getting a visa. You understand? They were not actually the main culprits in that situation. It was their agency. And once their agency became, in sync with what the embassy was asking them or what the MVC was asking from them, then the people that are with them were able to get cleared and come to the United States. So shouldn't be a fear. It's just that agencies are trying to brainstorm at this point. And I'm also working with a lot of agencies and we're all looking into it to see if there are ways like that national interest waiver that was mentioned is a thing. that if it comes up and it becomes something that we can use as nurses, then fine and good, everything will become clear again. The coast will be clear and we can all come to the United States. Okay, so there's no fear in that. All right, it's just to the extent to which your agency will understand the movement or you going to the embassy. I hope the question is answered.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. And then one more thing.
Okay.
Assuming I already have a date and I don't want to, since Nigeria is under ban, I don't want to do the interview here in Nigeria. Is it possible that I cancel my date here in Nigeria and move it to a place like Kenya that they don't have, or places that doesn't have a ban within this period?
The
Will it
first
work?
person that gave me the information that she was not given a visa was actually in UK. It's not based on location. Even if you are
Oh,
in how will I put, in UK, in Canada, or anywhere, so far as you're a Nigerian and you hold a Nigerian passport, that's what disqualifies you. Okay,
okay.
it's not location.
Wow.
If it's location, those that went to Cotonou would get,
Oh,
but it's not location. Okay,
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
you're
Yes.
welcome. All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
let's read the comment section. Let's see what we got going on the comment section. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. I have a question. So what if you got married post NCLEX? Yes, if you get married post NCLEX, you can add your spouse to your process at that point. Okay. So marriage shouldn't be a reason that you did not NCLEX, or this process shouldn't be a reason that you did not get married or add your spouse. It's actually a reason why you should add them. Add them sooner enough so that they will suffer with you and then enjoy with you when the time comes. For the picture evidence, is soft copy via phone acceptable? Print it out. Even if it's in your phone, print it out, please. You can print things that are in your phone out in an A4 paper. So print it out and file them and go with them. It's better like that. Okay, they will see that it is printed out. I've seen people that were even asked to print out their conversations. They had to go to WhatsApp. I don't know how they did it, but they printed out all their WhatsApp conversations. Well, that was when I think the consular officer was doubting whether they were married or not, whether it was just like an arranged marriage, because it happened so quick. So just print it out. I think it's better. They didn't show it in their phones. They had to print them out. And what if you go with phone and there in the embassy, like the network, you can't even connect to any internet, because sometimes some places where you enter, the network is gone. You understand? If that place is like that, then you're not going to be able to bring out your pictures from your phone. So the best thing is just to leave, and I think you might be given a place to store your phone. I don't think you might, have all that liberty of going in with your phone and all that. So please kindly print it out. It's better. It's the best practice to print out your evidences. Okay. So sir, what about adding a spouse if you got married post NCLEX? I already answered that. And what else? Okay. And then thank you, sir. If our country is great, we will not be going through this at the first. Well, we are great in our own way. The national interest exemption, does it really count? It will. That's actually why it's made, to be able to exempt people from things like this. So I'm hoping that if it comes up and one person uses it and it works, it will trickle down to everybody and we'll come back to smile on this program again. I'm looking forward to that day. All right. So now, please, I need to be able to be added to the pre-arrival group. Rita and Chinyere, if you're here, please kindly post the link to our groups so that they can be added as well. Please kindly post the link. And I'm going to put the number on the comment section. If you have passed your NCLEX, you chat up that number, you'll be added to the pre-arrival group. And then if you are yet to do your NCLEX, I'll post that number as well. So that number, you can chat it up and then you'll be able to start your process. We have over 15 NCLEX processing specialists that are in our academy that can help you to do your process from start to finish. So kindly link up with us and then we'll be able to assist you. Okay. All right, so I have another person saying, I'm about writing my NCLEX, but please, are agencies still accepting applications? Yes. If you finish your NCLEX and you pass, you can also reach out to me. I have a list of agencies that I'll forward to you that are still accepting. All right, so people are asking to be added in EPG. So I have someone that is saying, please, what's your take on going ahead with interview, even when your agency says you should not? Secondly, is it better to go ahead with your interview date or cancel your interview as as advised by some agencies? I think I answered this question. It's up to you and your agency. You can talk to your agency and let them know your intentions. Overall, it's your process. So let them know your intention. If they have another better intention, like the NIW that they want to bring up, fine. But if they insist and you see reasons with them to unschedule, please kindly unschedule. Don't do a no-show. No-shows are not good for these embassies because their times are precious. And once they allocate a time for you, no one else will get that time. So if you're not going to go, please kindly unschedule it. Find a way to write them and let them know you will not be coming. Please, can I be added? Yes. If you want to be added, I'll add a number. I'll add a number for you to chat up on WhatsApp. Is the visa bond going to affect people who will be issued visa before the stipulated date? Well, if you have been issued visa already, no, it will not affect you. But if you have not been issued visa, especially the B1, B2, the visa bond will affect you. You will need to pay that $15,000 before you can come. And it's a holding deposit. When you come back to Nigeria successfully or to any country successfully, they will give you back your money, according to them. So people in Burkina Faso are now designated to Lome Embassy. Okay, someone is updating us that people in Burkina Faso are now designated. So I didn't even know that. So this is an information for you to take home. So if those that have actually before gotten interview date in Burkina Faso, they were all told to go to Lome Embassy for their interview now. So you see, so coming to programs like this is very important so that you get information that can help you. All right, but I know that they mentioned them as one of the countries that are on total ban. And when you hear total ban, it means that that consular office will not function. Okay, so so I couldn't hear the countries that you mentioned. So the countries are Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Laos. Laos is spelled Laos. Okay, South Sudan, Mali, and Niger. These are the countries that were, designated a total banned country. So that means no function, nothing like activities going on there. All right, please, what about Nigeria applying from UK? It's still going to be the same issue. Location is not in question. Is your nationality, your citizenship. That's what is counting. All right, so please, what about, okay, I've said that, yeah. Yeah, except you have UK citizen. Okay. Yeah, for those that have UK citizenship, I would like you to go and try and see if you can change your citizenship in the application and then go with that and see what happens. Okay, please, what's your take on going ahead with interview when, okay, I've answered that question. Please, how can I get interview booklets? Interview booklet, are you in the US? If you're in the US, reach out to me. I can give you the interview for citizenship is different. So if it's that one that you're asking, I can give you the interview booklet. I have it in my phone. All right. Please, what's the implication of ineligibility under 2.1 to F? We just explained everything. And I believe that the explanation was quite extensive and you should be able to answer all the questions. You can go back and watch this video at the end of the program. This video will be posted on our YouTube page, Decency NCLEX Academy. Once you go there, subscribe, click, and like our page so that whenever we post something like this, informations like this, you'll be the first to get notified. Okay, how about filed I-140 pending approval? Are they affected by the ban? They are not. So I-140 is still progressing and the process is still going smoothly. We got people last week that we celebrated in EP in our exclusive pre-arrival group as those that got their I-140 approved. So it's still working. It's not affected. Okay, I'm a nurse and came to USA with visiting visa and I want to stay. What will I do? Okay, get into school. Dorothy, get into a school, maintain your status, never lose a legal status, please. You can reach out to me after this meeting and we'll talk about that. But you have to get into a school. All right, Christy, you did okay. Okay, and then please kindly add me. All the people asking to be added, you will be added, but you need to do your due diligence, chat up the number that I'm going to post so that you can be added to either a pre-arrival group or our general WhatsApp group where you'll be getting the links for this meeting. So how about adding a spouse? We've talked about that. Is it better to add a spouse on the interview date? Well, if you married before you even took NCLEX, why wait on interview date unless you don't trust the marriage? If you're still before the DQ, go ahead and add. But once after the DQ, it becomes a little bit a thing to be questioned, if it's going to delay your process and if you're okay with that. Okay, let's see. Okay, I have a question. Someone said, please, what of those that have gotten emails for document review and interview next week? So we said it's up to you and your agency. If you guys decide that you want to go, fine and good. But for me, if you are not going, please, on time, send an email or an information across to the embassy to let them know that you will not be attending. Okay, and then what else? Whereas the agency normally advise you to cancel the interview. Yeah. So if they advise you to cancel the interview, go ahead and unschedule the interview by yourself. They cannot do it. That's why they are letting you know to do it. So you can go ahead and do it by yourself. Please, okay. Just email them that you will not be able to attend the interview. Okay, we said that before. You cannot unschedule the interview. Do not attend, but message them. Okay. Okay, please, sir, this is the first time here. Can I have your number? Yes, I'll give you my secretary's number. If you have anything, go ahead and reach out to her. She would have a way to contact us and let us know how we can help you. All right. Let's see. Good day. Thank you for the information. Please, you mentioned that when you add a dependent, it can take you backwards. Yes, in the process. Does it affect someone who has I-140 filing that has not been approved? It does not. If it has not been approved, add. If it has been approved and you're documentarily qualified, being approved, it was one thing. When your DQ is like your case is now with the Lagos embassy or the embassy in your country. So when you start this process, your cases are within the US. They are processing it here, either in Texas or I think Nashville. So once they are done processing them, they send them to the embassies, to the consular offices in your different countries. When it goes to your consular offices and it is received, and then they are looked on and they say that is when they say this case is complete. You understand? MVC complete, and then they send it out, and then when it comes, it's documentarily qualified, which means everything looks good. You are ready to come and show your face for the interview. That's when that if you add somebody else, it takes the system backwards because the document you have is no longer in the US. It's now in your consulate and the processing office is in the US. So you're going to confuse the system a lot. So that's why I say if you are gotten to that stage, the best thing to do is to either wait and add at the embassy. That way they can collect all your documents because these are now regarded as those interruptions that happens as a result of regular life occurrences. Okay, so life happens and anybody can get married anytime, and it happened to you. You got married after you have gotten you're documentarily qualified. So nobody can stop that, but they will collect your documents with you and then they will, be the one to file it. The thing will still come back and be processed here, but, because you are giving it to them at that point and they have to give both of you visa and then every other process will take place, but if it happens before you're documentarily qualified, then they have to go through that process as well. So that's why I'm like, if you have gotten to that stage, it's better to wait. But if you have not gotten to that stage, then it's better to just go ahead and add whoever you want to add. So I'm going to miss out on some of the questions, but I'll be here next week to talk more about our, post-interview phase, which is like after your interview, what next? Preparing to come to the United States and all that. So I'll be here next week to talk about that. And then the following week is our big program. It's going to be our Start Smart program, and that is for everybody, whether you have written your NCLEX or not. We are doing our Start Smart, like this is a new year, so we have to do our initial, gingering everybody, putting the priorities correct, for everyone. So I would like you guys to attend. The next Friday is going to be our Start Smart. And then the following Friday, we're having a guest. He's a mental health nurse practitioner here in the United States, was a nurse in Nigeria. He's working here, he's making it big. So we want him to come here and let you guys know his humble beginnings and where he is now. Maybe there'll be one or two words that you will hear from him that will motivate you to keep on pushing. Okay, I'll keep on inviting people, very, very reasonable people to this program, just like we did last year. You will see more of it this year. That's what I'm promising you guys. Okay, so if I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry. And for the number, I'm going to put it on the comment section, please. The number to call. If you have any, if you want to be added to our group, let's see. So if you want to be added to our WhatsApp group for post-NCLEX takers, you can chat up this number on WhatsApp and you will be added to that group. And if you want to be in our group for NCLEX takers, you can also chat up the number. If you want, it's on WhatsApp, that number is on WhatsApp. And if you want any kind of assistance at all, with your process, like I said, this is the best place to come. We will be more than happy to assist you. We'll give you all the guidance that you need and follow up with you as well. So if you have gotten value for this session, I would like you to comment on the comment section. Let me know if you got value. Did you really learn something? Was the meeting helpful? Can we see your value on the comment section? Type value, let me see. Let's see how many values we can get. I've just seen two values, just two people. I've been talking to two people out of the 270 people that came for the program. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I see a lot of value. Now I see a lot of values. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay. All right. I have had that's enough. That's enough value. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I will be looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Next week is Friday. It's going to be an interesting session. Most of the information you will hear, you have to bank it. Just keep it in the bank because you will use it someday. Okay. I was hoping that things will move so fast so that when I'm giving you that information, and it can still happen. It can still happen. I believe that it can still happen. So I'm praying to God and I'm believing that it's the way that I was hoping and waiting on that lady that went for interview on the second. At the point I was asking myself, am I really the one that is going for this interview? I was trying to check my location, like, am I still in Nigeria? Why am I so, because I was so disturbed. It's not because of my business. It's just because I want to see this move and I want to see people come here as soon as possible, come in a legal way, and this is the best thing that can happen to you and your family. So I believe that it's going to happen. It's been happening and I believe it will happen soon for you guys as well. So keep on believing, keep on hoping, keep on putting your trust in God, keep on praying about it. I believe in prayer so much. And I believe one day we are going to come back here and we will tell ourselves that it happened and you are here. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. God bless you for showing up. Show up again next week or Friday. If I did not take your question, I'm sorry. For those of you that are in my mentorship class, we'll meet tomorrow to start up the new year. Because I know majority of you are already here in the US and some people are still in Nigeria. So those people that even have their visas are also there. So we'll be talking more about how to stay successful in the US or how to plan for your journey. All right. Thank you and God bless you. See you all next week, next week, Friday. God bless you, everyone. Bye.